thank you so much for all coming. It's a beautiful day. I know it's hard to give up a beautiful summer day on a Saturday, but I really appreciate you being here. I think you're going to find it very, very beneficial. We have a great program scheduled for you. And I'm just thrilled that so many of you were able to come. And at this time, I would like to turn the mic over to Jeff.
Once again, I want to thank you too for spending your time with each of us today. This is probably one of the best programs that we have ever put together for Membership Foundation. The speaker that you will hear a little bit, my 24 years of Rotary, he's probably one of my top 3 or 4 persons I've ever heard speak about polio. So, and I've been all over 7 different international conventions and all that stuff. So you're in for a wonderful thing. A couple things I want to remind you, people in action, make sure that we get your club to do a people in action, get that out there. We want to see that. Make sure you email that to Janice and myself, because I want to see each and every club participate in that. The last thing I want to remind everybody is, make sure you get this in your newspapers that you have attended this event and that you've heard exciting things about how the foundation can help your community. We have to show people in your communities how Rotary is spending money and developing your communities. That's very important. If you want to get new membership, guess what? That's how you do it. And all of these people will be working on that today. We're also streaming live today, so make sure if you're on Facebook, if you want to go back and look at that, Ken's going to be doing some editing. If anybody else streams, make sure you know that, give it to Ken so he knows what we can do. Thank you once again. I want to turn it back over to Janice, and let's rock this day and have a good day in Rotary.
Okay, we had a little bit of a glitch in communication, so I'm going to apologize, but the coffee is here. The coffee is ready finally. So feel free if you need to. Okay. Sorry.
It's probably a wise choice.
Yeah. I think there was an awful lot of energy, and it was so great to hear all the energy in this room before we even got started this early on a Saturday morning. At this time, I want to introduce Mary Harvey, our district chair for membership, to get us started.
Okay, so I've got my hands full and I've got notes and all of these things, so we'll see how this works. How many of you were able to join me at PETS in Effingham this past spring? A good number of you, thank you. And those that were there, were you able to attend the membership breakout? Okay, well, a few. Wish I had seen more, but that's okay. I've got some information I want to review. I'm not going to rehash the entire program, of course, but there are some interesting statistics that I want to share with you so that you understand the importance of membership and take this topic very, very seriously. And let me explain why. Of course, the entire program in Effingham was about growing Rotary and all of the challenges that are associated with that. And 6510 is not the only district that is experiencing these challenges. Trust me, it's across the United States. And as part of that program, I talked about an author that I had read some information, and what he had said was, attending meetings such as those held by Rotary and other service clubs has declined in the United States by 58% in the years 1975 through 2000. And he goes on to say that that rate has accelerated into the 21st century. The other point he made was that 43% fewer of us are having family dinners together, and that 35% fewer of us have friends who drop by our homes the way it used to be. Now, why do you think those last two statements are associated with membership? Anybody kind of think that through a little bit?
Because people are doing more things online instead of in person.
Okay?
Relationships.
Right, and that's the point he's making, is that, you know, we are no longer that closely knit group of individuals that we used to be just a generation ago. It used to be that people would stop by our homes and not even think about it, sit on the front porch, whatever it might be. We used to have a lot more family dinners together, right? That doesn't happen anymore. So he links that to the decline of membership in community groups, such as Rotary. And one more part of that program that I want to bring to you, we went over some numbers. In the past 20 years, Rotary is down 20% in membership in the United States. Do I have any JCs in the room? No JCs? Oh, one. You're down 64%. How about Masons? A couple of Masons. And I'm so sorry, you guys are down 76%. So again, Rotary, not the only service club experiencing this problem, but it is across the board. So what are we going to do about that? The single most important point I wanted you to take away from that breakout in Effingham was that it's important to plan. Planning for membership development. And during your Rotary year, you are the leaders of your clubs. Some of you are aware that I do have a business background in management and human consulting. And whenever I begin to think about Rotary membership, I go back to what's familiar to me. And what's familiar to me in terms and concepts are business terms. So when I approach the issue of membership development, that's kind of how I think of it. So stay with me for a little bit as I show you how my thought process works here a little bit. The three most important components to any strong and vibrant organization, including Rotary, are these. There must be a strong vision and mission, and it's got to be shared throughout the community. There must be cleanly communicated goals, objectives, and strategies. And there must be an action plan and some accountability. So, how does that apply to your Rotary clubs and to membership? How many clubs here or people here have participated in visioning process with Rotary? Okay, so you're very familiar with that. Good. And just basically, somebody tell me, what is, for those that don't know, what is Rotary visioning? Very succinctly. Say again? Planning for the future. It's strategic planning, right? Not a foreign concept, we just call it something different. We call it visioning. It's where our clubs come together and we discuss and outline our vision for the upcoming years, our goals, our strategies, all of those types of things. And the process takes quite a long time, doesn't it? It's not something that you're going to get done within an hour. Because we want to make sure that we're soliciting everybody's ideas, we're talking through everybody's ideas, and at the end we try to gain consensus so that we can build that roadmap to go forward. And these are the areas that we discuss, right? We talk about visioning. What does our club stand for? We talk about our club size, the number of members we're going to have in 3 years, and what are those members going to look like demographically. We talk about our projects, activities, our fundraisers, the Rotary Foundation, and we talk about public image. Anybody want to take a stab at what's missing there? An action plan. There is no action plan. Because the visioning exercise lays it out like this for you. Number of members in your club today, boom, you put in a number. Number of members in your club in 3 years, boom, you guess at that number. And then you walk away. And I would like to think that you're walking away trying to figure out how you're going to make that happen. But it isn't happening. If it were, we wouldn't be experiencing this loss in members like we are. So membership development is about planning, it's about establishing your goals and your objectives, formulating your strategies, and implementing an action plan. So if you've already been working on that this year, or you're currently working on it, good for you, you are way ahead of the game. If you have not done that in your clubs, I urge you to go back to your clubs and work together to formulate a plan to get this done. Because, what is the old saying? If you fail to plan, then plan on failing. All right, so this is a part of the program where I was going to spend the rest of my time with you talking about how to develop an action plan. However, something came up, as it always does. I was fortunate enough to go to a leadership seminar this past weekend in St. Louis, and it was put on by Zone 31 Leadership. And they brought forward a new plan for membership development. And this is going to be a proactive plan, and they're going to teach us how to develop those action plans for acquisition of new members, as well as engagement for the members that we already have. So we're in the process of putting that together, and I don't want to muddy the waters, so I'm kind of waiting until RI rolls out their curriculum for this. I'm told that it will be in 2018 and 19, so it will be your year, pardon me. I fully expect at some point I'll be contacting each of you and saying we want to come into your club, we want to introduce this new program for you, so look for that. But in the meantime, we are going through the training on exactly what goals Zone 31 has for us. So this is something new and exciting, and it's something that we've needed for a long time, so I'm really looking forward to doing that. So in the meantime, what do? Let's go on to something else. Let's talk about acquisition versus retention. What's more important? Which one? Retention. Somebody said retention? Okay. The acquisition of new club members is important, but obviously you've got to hold on to the members that you have, right? That's foremost always. Because resources can be finite, can't they? How many of you represent clubs that are in rural areas? Quite a few of you. 6510's, there's a lot of rural area here. What are the challenges you have in membership development because of your geographic location? I hear murmuring. Tell me.
Not as many people available.
Not as many people available. That's pretty much it, right?
Distance.
Distance? Absolutely. So while we're always looking for those new people moving into the area, or we're always looking for people that are changing jobs and those types of things, we're never not looking for that. Sometimes you just have this many people to deal with. So retention is extremely important. And Rotary isn't the only service organization looking for new members, are they? If you look at that picture, there's probably an elk, a moose, a lion, whatever other animal club that I don't know about. We're all fishing out of the same pond. We are all fishing out of the same pond. So increasing your member base is the fastest way to grow your club and the obvious way to reach membership goals, right? No argument there. But those are short-term goals. Very short-term goals. When you're putting together a membership development plan, don't assume that acquisition of new members is the most important thing. You know, as district membership chair, I get access to a lot of different information and reports, and sometimes it's overwhelming with all of the numbers that are out there. Let's talk about retention a little bit. Why might a retention rate for a club be important? What is it an indicator of? Right, it's either an indicator of success, you're doing very well, or it's an indicator that you have some issues that you may need to explore a little bit and take a look at. So over the past 3 to 5 years, if you've taken in, for instance, 27 new members and you've lost 3, that's a retention rate of 88%, I think. He's a mathematician. That's 88%, right?
I'll take that.
So is 88% good? I don't know. That's up to you guys to decide that. But you know, if we're doing some things in the club to engage your members and we're keeping your members, then they feel satisfaction and they feel valued. And of course, we already talked about the fact that a low retention rate can be a clue that something's wrong, and we may need to take a look at that also. Too many of our clubs are experiencing that revolving door in membership. What is that? What is that revolving door? What does that mean?
People come in for a year.
Right. We bring in 5 members, we lose 4. And we are all experiencing that. And that's been going on for a long time, people. This isn't something new. So why is it? Are we asking ourselves that question? What's going on? Are we recruiting too quickly? Are we not, making sure that the people coming into our clubs really can meet the qualifications and the expectations of Rotary? Or once they get, are we not engaging them? Are we not keeping them busy? They come in to do service, right? Most people come in to do service. And then they sit for 6 months and we do nothing with them. So why wouldn't they leave us? So let's explore something new. When there is a culture of appreciation within a club, you can feel that when you walk into a room. Really? Already? But I have so much more to say, Janice. come from. You can feel that when you walk into the room. All you have to do is look at how members are interacting with each other, how they're greeting each other, how they're greeting new members come in, and you understand that. And I'm skipping through my notes, and I really don't like it, but I'll do it. All right. So I would like all of you to consider this year cultivating a culture of appreciation within your clubs. And here's just a few ideas of what I have in the way that you can do that. If your club members are offering service from the heart, the thanks that we express to them should come from the hearts too, right? And as club leaders, are we taking the time to really show sincere and heartfelt appreciation to our members? Because recognizing a person's value, investment, and contribution is key to retaining those members. And take the time to get to know your members. Why are they Rotarians? What is their passion? What drives them? And make sure that you're personally inviting them to either come to your club socials or get involved in your club committees or what have you. Making a generalized statement from the podium is not going to get it done, because I'm telling you, most people don't step forward. If you offer a personal invitation, I guarantee you, you will get much better cooperation, much better involvement. And then, of course, a culture of appreciation starts from the top, doesn't it? And be specific. Try to avoid those blanket expressions of gratitude. Say something specific. Megan Schmidt, I am so grateful for you for taking on this interacting with Mount Vernon. I've been trying to do that for 3 years, and I couldn't get it done, and you did it, and I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much, and the district is better because of it. David Matthews, where are you?
Back here.
There you are. Thank you so much for taking the lead and helping me out with district conference and that mess of a webpage that I can't possibly figure out. I don't have the skills. You did it. It looks fantastic, and I couldn't do it without you. Thank you very much. And to whoever brought the donuts and coffee, thank you very much. We all love that. So be specific. And basically all of that, none of that was disingenuous. I mean every word of it. And I'm almost done, I promise. Make it a goal to thank at least one club member for something specific each week. Do not wait until your annual recognition banquet or whatever it is that we call it. We love those things. They're great. We look forward to them. But you know you've got club members that do things in your clubs much more often than once a year. Take the time to recognize it. And take the time to mentor those club members who show interest in future leadership. Because not only are you grooming the future of your club's leadership, you may be grooming the future of district or beyond leadership. So look for those things. And finally, yes, finally, the title of the entire program. It's really a simple formula. By creating a culture of appreciation, you will engage your members. Show them that they have tremendous value to your club. When there is an alignment between membership engagement and value, membership retention takes care of itself. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, for those of you who don't know, Carl is an attorney, and he gave me his resume. It's this thick, okay? Huh? Oh. Everybody knows me. Tom Ripperdow, and I'm a past district governor for 6510, and it's always a bad thing when you give a past district governor a microphone, okay? And so Carl was kind enough to provide his resume to me, and I got to tell you, Carl is a delightful guy to know. He has a wicked sense of humor, and he gets to play, he gets to mess with me every once in a while. So I did learn some new things about Carl, besides his sense of humor. I don't know, did you bring Dr. Seuss with you or not today? No. Normally I would hear him and he brought Dr. Seuss. And there's a lot of wisdom in Dr. Seuss, and it takes an eternity to find it, but he found it. I did not realize, and this is really a kind of an interesting thing, Carl started his career in the insurance business, working as an attorney, as a vice president for Kansas City Life. Are they still around? Are they? I didn't know. So many of them changed. After he left that practice, he left that business in '76, and he was fortunate enough to move out to Lee Summit, where all the growth went, and he started his own private practice out there. and he is it's Chinnery, Evans, and Nails, and they're in Lee Summit. If you don't know where that is, if you're going on to 70, before you get to Kansas City, you drive through it. And he works primarily in estate planning, probate, and business law, and real estate law. He joined Rotary in '77, so he's been around a while. I know he didn't practice. You got to see the appellate court here in town. And I know he didn't practice with Abe Lincoln, but he's close. He became district, boy, I'm gonna pay for this, aren't I? He became district governor in 2002, 2003. He got the presidential citation. He was the convener, and this is a big deal if you're a past district governor. Every 2 years we get to select the director, and so that's how Greg got that job. But anyway, he was the convener. That means he was in charge. He set it up. It's quite an honor to be chosen. RI saw the talent that he's had there. He's a major Paul Harris donor, level 6. He is a benefactor. He is one of the folks that started the original Paul Harris Society in their district. He has been awarded, and these are very strategic, very important awards. They only give out, I think, 150 of these in any given year. So he's got the citation for meritorious service, the Distinguished Service Award, the Membership Development Award. I could go on and on. He has done legal work for over 130 nonprofits. And I'm going to, knowing Carl, I'm going to guess that they got a discounted rate for that. He also, and there's a whole bunch of folks he belongs to, but I've got to ask him about a couple of these. He's very active in his church, but he is, are you the president of the International Doll Men's Club? Is that true? I can see that, okay. He's also the president of Acme Extension Cord Company. I don't know what that is, but he's very active in his church, has served in his community in Lee Summit very much. I don't know where he found the time, but he has built 2 sailboats, a couple canoes. He does other woodworking projects. He enjoys traveling. Between him and Jean, they have 8 children and 18 grandchildren, and each member of his family is a member of the Paul Harris, as a Paul Harris Fellow. In addition to that, besides being a very generous person with his time and his money and his talent, he has sponsored 165 new Rotarians and is responsible for starting 3 brand new clubs. So with no further ado, Carl. He said, I'm going to get it later.
We'll submit this to the Rotarian. I doubt that it'll get any awards. Well, thank you for inviting us. My wife is with me. When Jeff asked me to come, he said, are you going to bring your wife? And I said, well, of course, she takes care of me. In fact, she feeds me so much fiber, I can pass wicker furniture. The last time I was a speaker here was 9 years ago. I verified that with Jeff just earlier. And it was a lot of fun. It was down in his neck of the woods. So it's been 9 years since I've been with you, but thank you very much for inviting me. And I thought that I'd start out by, I like to, when I go to a district, I like to see what the geographic area looks like, and then try to cut it out in a Rotary pattern as best I can. Because I think that really adds to what we know about the particular geographic area that we're in. So we'll just kind of see so far as I can tell, looking at the map, this is going to be close. Well, not real close, but close. So how many of you think that I can make this whole again? How many of you don't think I can make this whole again? You're right. But I think you have somebody in here who can. Janice, would you come up? Where are you? Disappointed in Lanny. I told him that I had some slides that I want to bring, some 35mm slides, and he didn't have the projector. But I brought some slides anyway. This is a slide. Notice they're learning how to swim in this picture, and then here's another picture of all the family together, which I'm very proud of.
Carl, if you reach up high enough, you'll hit that light stream.
Said Conrad Cornelius O'Donnell Odell, my very young friend who is learning to spell. The A is for ape, and the B is for bear, the C is for camel, the H is for hare, the M is for mouse, and the R is for rat. I know all the 26 letters like that. Through to Z is for zebra. I know them all well, said Conrad Cornelius O'Donnell Odell. So now I know everything anyone knows, from beginning to end, from the start to the close, because Z is as far as the alphabet goes. Then he almost fell flat on his face on the floor when I picked up the chalk and drew one letter more, a letter he never had dreamed of before. And I said, you can stop if you want with the Z, because most people stop with the Z, but not me. In the places I go, there are things that I see that I never could spell if I stopped with the Z. I'm telling you this because you're one of my friends. My alphabet starts where your alphabet ends. So you see, there's no end to the things you might know, depending on how far beyond zebra you go. Now, isn't that Rotary? Rotarians go beyond zebra. So let's talk about going beyond zebra today. And I want to do that with a PowerPoint.
I woke everybody up.
Can you all clearly see in the back? If you can't. All right, this is called Rotary by the numbers, and it's participatory. So when I call out a number, I hope you will tell me what the number means in terms of Rotary. 1905. Pardon? Rotary started, and by whom?
And three others.
Sylvester Shealy, Gus Fear, and Hiram Shorey. And how can you think that an organization would last with names like that? And who was the president?
No, it wasn't.
Hiram Shorey. All right. And what did they want to do? What was their purpose for meeting?
Business networking.
Networking.
Loneliness.
You knew he was a lawyer, didn't you? Networking. There are two other things that they met for.
Bathrooms.
Fellowship and high ethical standards. Has things changed? Same for you. All right. 2006. 1906. I mean 1906. Anybody?
First service project.
First service project. And what was it?
Public restrooms in Chicago.
A comfort station in downtown Chicago. Actually, there's some controversy. There's two controversies. One relates to the comfort station, and that is because up until then, all the public restrooms were in the back of the department stores. So you have to walk through the department store to get to the bathroom, and then out through the department store, and hopefully you buy something either one way or the other. But there's another one that conflicts, and there's some people say that the first service project was buying a horse for an itinerant Wisconsin preacher. That was what was bought by at the Rotary Club. 1,200,106. 1,206,106. You know what I mean. The number of Rotarians worldwide. 42-34. 20 years ago, the average size of Rotary Club was 42 members. Today, the average size is 34 members. We have most likely, or close to, the same number of Rotarians. Our clubs are just smaller. But we have a lot more clubs. We've gone from 32,000 clubs about 10, 15 years ago to over 35,706 clubs today. 538.
Districts.
The number of districts worldwide. 210. The number of countries and territories that Rotary is in. So we do indeed circle the globe. 1932. This is a very, very important date. 1932, Herbert Taylor created the four-way test. And what is the four-way test? Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it goodwill and be beneficial to all concerned? And number 4 is the four-way test. 5. Avenues of service. What are they? What are the avenues of service? Club service. Vocational. The lost. Vocational service. Community service. International service. And one was added in the last 5 years. Youth service. 1. It's the loneliest number. You know, it was the classification system that really was so strong in Rotary for so long. And it's still important today. We don't still have the classification system saying that only one person from a particular work area can be in the Rotary Club. But it really is good to spread out our membership throughout the different vocations. Who would want, raise your hand, who would want 20 members of your club to be lawyers? Of course. They are. There's another meeting right outside that door. 1917. Foundation. And where was it created? The International Convention. Actually, it was in Atlanta, but Kansas City played a big role. What was that role?
First one to donate.
That's right. And what was the amount of money that Kansas City so generously gave?
$26.
$26.50, which was the amount of money left over from the convention. 1,000. What's that?
Be a Paul Harris Club.
Anybody else? It's a start. if you're a member of a church or any charitable organization, do you give $1,000 and quit? What would happen to that organization? It would fold. So $1,000, and it hasn't changed for so long. So the value of that $1,000 today is significantly smaller than what it was then. So just think in terms of $1,000. But let's go back to membership for just a minute. We heard a good presentation on membership and retention this morning, and a lot of that verifies what I'm going to talk about now, and that is the nuts and bolts of bringing in new members. And I'm just going to tell you that how I do it. I have a pad of paper, and this is one sheet of it, that sits on my desk right by my phone, and I look at it virtually every day. And what is on it? It's the name of a prospect, it's the name, the phone number of that prospect, what they do, and their email address. And I don't invite anybody to be a Rotarian. I invite them to come to lunch with me to Rotary. And who wants to pass up a lunch? So they come to lunch, and then when they come to lunch, they always get a packet of information right from the start. Now our club has developed our own packet. And on the front of it, it says at the bottom, I joined Rotary for business and fellowship. I stayed to change the world. Inside, we have the reasons that people join service clubs, and we have a membership application. And at the top of the membership application is the amount of money that it's going to cost them for the coming year. So all of it's there. Then on another piece, it tells all about our club, everything that our club does, and a brochure on Rotary International, and then we tell them what the website for Rotary is. But this is put in the hands of virtually every visitor that we have come to the club. And then we have what's called a likely list, because we want them to think of their people, their members, somebody who they would like to sit with at lunch every week. So I encourage you to get that. Now, have we been successful? We've been reasonably successful in our club. I think it was 6 years ago we had 80 members, and today we have 165. So I give that to you. Now, the other thing is that, remember, we're there for friendships. You need to say hello to those people. If you're at a round table, go out of your way to say hello to everybody at the table virtually every week. And if it's a new person, take it on by yourself to introduce that person to everybody at the table. Several years at an international convention, one of the presenters gave this little talk about thoughts from a new member. I see you at the meetings, but you never say hello. You're busy all the time you're there with those you really know. I sit among the members, yet I'm a lonely person. The new ones feel as strange as I, the old ones pass us by. Darn it, you folks urge us to join and talk of fellowship. You could just talk across the room, you know, but you never make the trip. Can't you just nod your head and smile? Or stop and shake a hand? Then go sit among your friends? Now that I'd understand. I'll be at your next meeting, and I hope that you will spend the time to introduce yourself. I join to be your friend. It's up to all of us, every one of us, to make friends. And when they come to Rotary, make them feel welcome. I can tell when I walk in a room at a Rotary meeting if it's a strong club or not. Because if there's chaos, there's people in one corner talking about committee structures. There's other people hugging each other like they hadn't seen each other for a year. Some of them taking advantage of the situation. But they're excited to see each other. That's a strong club. It's chaos. It's wonderful. They have difficulty starting the meeting because everybody wants to talk and bring each other up to speed on things. So, there's lots of good information, and you obviously have a great membership chairman, and retention, of course, goes after that, which we won't cover. But there's lots of good information online. There are online membership courses. All right, now back to the numbers again. Where were we? Rotary's mission. What are the three areas of Rotary's mission? Education, humanitarian, and peace. 1948, first ambassadorial scholarship. Became the largest scholarship in the world. 85-92. We are now, have moved up the scale from 85. We were 85 about 4 years ago in the Chronicle of Philanthropy, the top 400 four-star charities in the world. And we've now moved up from there. But we use 92% of all of our funds for the mission. Only 6% goes to fundraising and 2% goes to administration. 6/2. The 6 areas of focus, which are peace and conflict resolution, disease prevention and treatment, water and sanitation, maternal and child health, basic education and literacy, and economic and community development. And those have to meet 2 things, sustainability and measurability. But you can go beyond this and say, why do you keep members? Well, they become involved. And if they can't find something to do in one of these 6 areas of focus, I'd be really surprised. But the 6 areas of focus can be used not just for internationally, which we normally think about, but locally. And millennials are very interested in service. In fact, sometimes they will join your club for service rather than friendship. But it's also just as important for us older folks, because we need to become involved and stay involved as well. Now some big numbers. 217 million. That was the amount of money that the foundation gave away last year. And it's broken down in the 6 areas of focus. $28,500,000 for district grants, $35,500,000 for disease prevention and treatment, $18,500,000 in water and sanitation, $11,500,000 in economic and community development, and $7,500,000 in maternal and child health. And finally, $3,500,000 in peace and conflict resolution. So you see, Rotarians are involved. Rotarians, when they give their money, they give their time. So these numbers only spell half the story, because the other half is the millions and millions of man-hours that it takes to service those 6 areas of focus. Now let's get into $450,200. The number of polio cases worldwide each and every year prior to 1979, when Rotary became involved with polio eradication. And that first venture, that first time that we stuck our toes into the water of polio work was in the Philippines, where we used some leftover vaccine and were so successful in knocking out polio in the Philippines. 1985. I'm going to let you guess this one. International Convention where?
Philadelphia.
Kansas City. The most important city in the whole United States. Kansas City, Missouri. Where Albert Sabin challenged us to work on giving vaccine to the world. Not to eradicate polio, that came later, but to give the vaccine away and to administer the vaccine to the children of the world. 120 million. That was the goal. We didn't reach it. We got to 247 million that year, the 3 years after 85. 80 million. And for you people who are district governors or who will become district governors, you're always surprised with what happens in your year as district governor, because they always throw something at you that you didn't anticipate. When we went to San Diego for training, they said, "Oh, we're gonna go out for another fundraising," and so it changed our whole year in terms of goals. 80 million was what we were shooting for. We got 129 million. 1,625 million. That was how much was given. That's more money than I made last year. That's the amount of money. Where's your Polio Plus chairman?
In California. Baptizing her granddaughter.
That's a shame, because I have here all of the contributions that have been given to polio since 1985. Actually, this chart only, it's goes all the way back to 85. But Rotary's contribution is 1.625 billion. What do you think the Gates Foundation is giving? $3,105 million. But how much worldwide? Janice, come on up here and hold this. How much worldwide has been given to the eradication of polio? Anybody guess? $15 billion. Who are the biggest contributors? Not Gates, not Rotary, but the individual countries. So it's taken $15 billion and millions of man-hours to get where we are today. Well, where are we today? So far this year, we have 12 new cases, which is the best we've ever received. But the job's not over. The most difficult part is yet to come. Thank you. And if any of you want to see it, take it to the back of the room and you can look at it. See where the contributions have come from.
That's really cool.
3.00. $3. That's the cost of a vaccine, or to administer the vaccine. The vaccine itself costs about 60 cents. But then to get it to where it belongs, you have transportation, you have the vaccine itself, the people who administer the vaccine, stipends, carriers, chalk, dye, $3 per vaccine. 2.6 billion, perhaps the most important. The number of polio, the number of children who have received the vaccine. 17,400,000. The number of cases that have been saved because we have gone on this mission. Percent completion. 99.99999%. Two, there are two ways that you can give. Either permanent fund, which I'm sure would be covered later on, and the annual fund. The permanent fund, I'm sorry I screwed up here, but anyway, the annual fund right now has in it $1,250,000,000, and that's broken down $460 million in assets in hand and $734 million in expectancies. And why do we include expectancies? You might think, well, that's just fluff. That may never come in. But the studies say by Stelter, which is the largest charitable organization in the world that administers charities, they say that once somebody is committed to give something in terms of an expectancy, by the time it matures, it will have tripled. So it's a very solid number. And then finally, 43. Baskin-Robbins uses 43 for the number of ice creams that they make. Well, we can use it for Rotary because you can give to the annual fund, the permanent fund, through wills, trust, outright giving, land, stock, cash, anything that you can think of. And there are that many ways to give. Now, if there are additional questions, let's look to the ultimate source. Because I think that we look to the good book for those burning issues, those burning questions that we might have from time to time. And so let's see what we can figure out with the, well, I really screwed up here. But the burning, the point is that you can find your questions, the burning questions in the good book. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Carl. And in our welcome, we did not welcome both Carl and his lovely wife, Jean. We had a lovely evening last night visiting with them, the planning group for this event today. And I just thank you so much. Wasn't that inspiring? Thank you. Okay. We are the schedule. We're just a little bit ahead of time. So, but we're going to go ahead and take the break. And the coffee is back there, both regular and decaf. So if you need that, if Carl didn't get you going, you need a little caffeine to get you going. Let's be back at 10:15. Okay? Thank you.